Bismillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, and welcome to our mini-series entitled The Correct Pronunciation of Letters. I'll be taking you through this mini-series, and it really is mini because it's only 5 minutes long each day, inshallah. It's really for those of you that are a bit more busy and maybe you're beginners, maybe you're just getting into this, or maybe you just want to focus a little bit at a time. So inshallah, this mini-series will be for you. Just a very quick reminder before we dive in, that this is really for sisters only. So please make sure that this presentation or this video is only for the eyes and ears of sisters only. And one really important reminder is that what we're about to do is really not a substitute for having a real teacher. There's lots of benefit to gain from a series like this, but nothing beats having a teacher. You need to have a proper teacher who can listen to you and guide you as you try to pronounce these letters correctly, inshallah. Okay, let's dive in. Bismillah. Today we're going to start with the letter Ba. Okay. Now, the reason we're starting with letter Ba, I know most of you are probably wondering, where's Alif? Where's Alif gone? Alif we're leaving till the end because in the Uthmani script, or what most of us know as the Medina Mus'haf, Alif is not really a letter that takes on a haraka. It only ever really acts as a mud letter. And so mud letters, inshallah, will be covered at the end. Okay, so let's go into the letter Ba. So for the letter Ba, the first thing we need to understand is where this letter actually comes from. Now, letter Ba is a letter of the lips, so it uses both lips to pronounce it. And what you'll find is when you pronounce this letter, the lips come together and they meet. Okay. Now, the important thing to note here is that when the lips come together for the pronunciation of letter Ba, they do not go in. Okay. You can see me on the screen. Okay. You don't make the lips go in and go like that. Okay, the lips should still be visible. Okay, so you say okay, so let's try it with the fatha first. Okay, when we see the letter Ba with a fatha, we pronounce it Ba, Ba, Ba. So the first thing to notice, one, it's a light letter. It sounds very light. Okay, as opposed to if I said Ba, which would be heavy, and that would be incorrect. Okay, so Ba is your light sounding letter that you want to be producing, inshallah. The second thing that I want you to notice is when I pronounce the letter Ba with a fatha, you'll notice that the jaw moves down. Not a lot, okay, not too much, but a little bit. Ba, Ba, Ba. A lot of sisters make the mistake of actually keeping the jaw very fixed, and they'll separate the lips, and they'll end up making like a B, B type of sound, which would be incorrect again. So make sure that the whole of this jaw is moving slightly down. Ba, Ba. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing you have to notice is that, or pay attention to really, is the tongue and the position of the tongue. The tongue is in a rest position. No part of the tongue is up. You know, the back of the tongue is not up. It's not pushing backwards. The middle of the tongue isn't up. The tongue is very much relaxed and just flat. Okay, and this allows the sound to come out straight through the mouth, nice and easily. So this is the letter Ba. What about when it has a dhamma on it? Okay, when it has a dhamma on it, we want to make a oo sound, right? So when we say boo, 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 for this, you get a circling of the lips. Okay, now the circling of the lips is important, and it's also important to make sure that you still have a gap in the middle. So you circle the lips and you still have a gap, and that gap is to allow the voice to come out. Okay, if the gap is too small, you end up having nasalization with it, and it will sound wrong, and it will sound like boo, boo, which has a little bit of a gunna with it. So you've got to make sure there's a gap. So you say boo, boo, boo. Okay, you have a gap in the middle. Okay, that circling is important because you don't want, if you're not circling properly, you may end up with a bo type of sound. Okay, but you want to make a proper oo sound when you say it. Boo. Okay, so that's ba and boo. Moving on, we have the kasra, B. Now for this, a very common mistake is people pronounce this as B. So you have to be careful that you get a proper clean E sound to this. B, B, B. And you notice with all three of these, my lips are not going in and they stay visible. Okay, so I'm still using that same part of the lips that I mentioned before. The lips are not disappearing inside into my mouth. Okay, ba, bu, bi. Then we come to the ba with a sukoon, the joining ba. When we do the joining ba, now ba is a letter that has qalqala, what we say it has the bounce. And it's a bit like a spring. So you know how a spring comes together and then as soon as you let go, it bounces straight back up again. Well, that's what you're doing at the makhraj. That's what you're doing at the lips for the letter ba. The lips come together, but then there's a bounce straight off, almost like a spring effect, okay? And it happens immediately. Ab, okay? So that's how we do the qalqala with ease. You don't put more energy into the bounce off. You don't put more pressure into it. It's just whatever energy you go into the ba, same energy out. Ab, okay? Let's have a look at a few examples. We've got the word burhanakum. Now again, when we said ba and bu, you should still hear bu when you say burhanakum, burhanakum. We also have the word abawaba. This ba, you can see the first one is a sakin. This is that bouncy one. And after doing the bounce, you go straight to the wow. Abawa. And then you have your fatha, the nice light at the end. Abawaba. And again, that movement of the ba, okay, a little bit vertical open, the jaw coming a bit down, the tongue being flat for the ba at the end. Abawaba. Okay. And then right at the end, we have a very short ayah here, which has quite a few bars in it. You'll see it's got a bar with a fatha. Let me just quickly mark that for you. We have a bar with a fatha. We have a bar with a kasra. We have another bar with a kasra. And at the end, you have a bar with a sukoon, which has the bounce. So for this, we would say, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Tabbat. So again, you're hearing that ba, tabba, tabbat, tabbat yada abi. Hearing a clean E sound. Abi lahabin wa tab. Lahabin wa tab. Again, that qalqala at the end, that bounce at the end. So when you put it together, tabbat yada abi lahabin wa tab. Okay, inshallah. That's a very quick introduction to the letter ba. I hope it's been useful. We will stop that, inshallah. There will be a link available to you after the lesson in the description, which will take you to another practice session. So that's where you can practice along at the same time. So please do make use of that, inshallah. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, inshallah, where we will be looking at the letter ta. I look forward to it. جزاكم الله خيرا سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.